Have you ever noticed how every house has one room that feels different when the lights go out? For me, it was the living room. Not because anything ever happened there, but because of what happened when the lights were off. I grew up in a massive old castle-like home my grandfather left behind. Stone halls, cold floors, and rooms with ceilings so high your voice echoed even when you whispered. At night, the whole place felt hollow, except the living room. The living room felt occupied. Every night before bed, I'd turn off the lamps one by one. The house would fall into darkness, but the living room always felt like the last room still awake, as if it were watching me walk away. I told myself it was just childhood imagination, but a few weeks ago, I learned I wasn't imagining anything. It started with the candles. I had placed a few in the living room to make the space cozier. They were the kind that burned slowly, barely flickering. One night, as I was heading upstairs, I looked back toward the living room, and one of the candles blew out. Not flickered, not dimmed, blew out, like someone had leaned over it and exhaled. I stood there, waiting for a draft. There was none. The air was completely still. I convinced myself it was nothing, turned the remaining candles off, and went to bed. But around 3 a.m., I woke up to a faint, warm glow under my door. I thought I had forgotten to switch a light off somewhere. I opened the door and saw that the living room was lit. All the candles, every single one, were burning. Some were new. Ones I'd never lit. One still wrapped in wax-covered paper an hour before. I should have run. I should have called someone. But the castle had a way of making you feel trapped. Like leaving wasn't an option. So I walked toward the living room. The air changed as soon as I crossed the threshold. It was warmer than before, almost like someone had been sitting there moments ago. The velvet cushions looked pressed, the throw blanket slightly folded back, like a body had just risen from it. The flames didn't flicker. They stood tall and still, perfectly straight, as if the air around them refused to move. And then I noticed something else. Every candle was facing me. Dozens of flames, all angled in my direction, perfectly aligned. I felt the weight of something behind me. A presence. A pressure. But every time I turned, nothing was there. I slowly backed out of the room and whispered, almost without meaning to, "Who's here?" The flames dimmed, almost like they were inhaling. Then every candle went out at the same time. Darkness. I couldn't see. I couldn't move. I felt someone inches from my face, not touching me, but close enough that the cold of their presence dug through my skin. Seconds passed, or minutes. Finally, a single candle flickered back to life in the corner of the room. Just one, standing on the small table beside the sofa. And the flame wasn't facing me anymore. It was pointed toward the far wall. At first, I didn't understand. Then my eyes adjusted, and I saw it. A dark, tall smudge on the stone wall, shaking, like a shadow with no source. It was as if someone unseen was standing directly in front of the candle blocking the light, yet no one was there. The shadow moved, slowly, toward me. I ran. Now every night, The living room lights come on by themselves. No matter how many times I blow out the candles, how many times I check the switches, how many times I unplug everything, the room lights up at exactly 3 a.m., and the shadow waits on the wall, still, watching. But last night, something changed. The shadow wasn't on the wall. It was standing at the bottom of the stairs. Closer. Tonight. I'm not sure I want to go to sleep, because if it keeps getting closer, I know exactly where it will be next. Right outside my bedroom door.